freedom, freedom over fame, freedom over cycle stays the same.
When I liberate myself, I liberate others. American activist Fannie Lou Hamer. Welcome to the Illusion of Liberty podcast. I'm the host, Bianca Butterpecan.
We're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, we are back with another episode, and that is episode 6, Hurricane Katrina. So give it up for that. Yeah, give it up for the fact that we made it to episode 6. Episode 6 podcast, guys. Yes. I'm going to be talking about Hurricane Katrina, as I said. And what that means is I watched this documentary, guys. It's on Netflix. It's really good, very detailed, and it's a lot of interviews of people who were in the Hurricane Katrina flood. And it's called Come Hell or High Water. I think that's the name of it. Come Hell or High Water. And you also know that Spike Lee has one too called When the Levees Break. So let me take everybody's mind back to August 29th, 2005. Now my millennials, you probably were in high school, middle school somewhere. But this was a national broadcast. So I didn't know all the details when I was younger, but looking back at it and looking at this documentary recently, I'm like, wow, a lot happened on the inside that I didn't know. You know, we didn't have Instagram then, just people weren't really, you had people that recorded some footage, of the after effects of Hurricane Katrina, but I don't think at that time we were like really cell phone people at that time, because I don't think we were. You had some people that were stranded in their attic and they pulled out the phone and recorded each other, you had that, and they showed those cell phone recordings, but it wasn't like it was now where everything you do is documented on Instagram, But anyway, Hurricane Katrina as an adult, looking back, was a very important lesson. I would say as a spiritually awakened person and a conscious person, it's even more reason to prepare yourself. When I mean to prepare yourself, is mean like to prepare for government abandonment. Blacks in the U.S. hasn't really had a good history with the government over the years. I mean, we've been lynched. Still lynchings going on today. We've been in chattel slavery, literally shackles and chains, coming to this land, and not having rights, not being considered a citizen, being denied voting rights. Blacks have always not even been a second-class citizen. I would say been treated like a dog. Let's keep it all the way 100, right? Just keep it all the way 100. Been treated like a dog in the United States. This is a humanity podcast, so I gotta keep it real what goes on in humanity. And as far as how blacks were treated, they were dehumanized. And I'm saying all that to say that in this documentary, as the people are talking about the events that occurred and how they were treated by U.S. Army officials and the president at that time, they were dehumanized. Now, there's nothing they can do about. New Orleans is a area that floods, right? That's a fact. But the government built walls called levees that were supposed to not break and prevent the levee and prevent the hurricane waters from flooding the city of New Orleans, right? There was even said in the documentary that there was an assimilation fake flood on the computer where the government knew exactly where the waters would reach. Like, it wouldn't reach their business district. It'll be dry, right? But they knew that if the levees would break or something like that, somehow they fixed the levees in a business district or did something within that district where it didn't get flooded, according to what they said on the documentary, you know. But as far as the assimilation hurricane on a computer, they saw that is a possibility that the water could flood the poor neighborhoods of New Orleans, right? Not the business district. And they did nothing about that. They just said, oh, that's what's going to happen. And so when that time happened where there was a hurricane, they knew what parts it was going to flood already. Did they evacuate the people beforehand? No. They waited till the last minute to say mandated evacuation. The mayor, the president, George Bush at the time, no one did an emergency evacuation. No one paid for transportation to come evacuate the people because the people were at an economic disparity. These were people in what you would call, poor neighborhoods. They didn't have the money, whether it be for gas. They probably didn't even have transportation. Some of them took the bus. The government knew what was going to happen and the catastrophe that it would cause because they had a hurricane back in the early or mid 1900s. They built these levees. They said they wouldn't break. Okay, sometimes players mess up. All right, I'll give you that. Sometimes players mess up. The U.S. government's levees did break. Fine, I'll let you slide with that. But what I can't let them slide with in the documentary is what it was said was when the levees did break and it did flood the New Orleans neighborhoods, as the assimilation had already proven it would, the government fell or dropped the ball on going to rescue the people. So now you don't give proper evacuation instructions. You just tell everybody to find their way. Don't matter if the highway is crowded and a hurricane can come and you just make everybody leave the city at one time. Some people don't have money to leave the city. Some people had options where there was a dome and the dome opened its doors. Amen. For people to be secured. You had hospitals that people were already in that had hurricane-proof windows. Now, nursing homes, they weren't very protected, and there were elderly people in there, and I don't think anybody came to rescue them either. So they said approximately about 300 to 400 bodies were found after Hurricane Katrina, and that was not because of the hurricane itself. They survived the hurricane. It was the flooding. It was the levees that broke, that flooded the New Orleans cities, that flooded the New Orleans neighborhoods. That is what caused the cause and death. The cause of death was basically because the days after the levees broke and it flooded the streets and neighborhoods, nobody came to rescue the people. There were videos of people having to steal bus transportation, having to steal food and water. And then U.S. Marshals coming in and saying that these people are thugs, or whatever they said. The U.S. Army called them thugs, and try to, saying that they would shoot them if they see them stealing water, or if they see them stealing food. It was days. They were stranded on top of roofs because the water was high. Um, you know, the president at the time, George Bush, went on a vacation. It was hot. It was, they can't shower, can't brush your teeth. They tried walking to. Some people said they tried walking across the when they could, when it was, if they could, and there was they tried to walking to Baton Rouge or something like that, for the places that didn't have as much water and they could walk. There were snipers. Apparently, some hillbillies thought it was a good time to start killing Negroes. So, if you were just stumbling across a neighborhood that happened to be a different, all white or all European, they decided that, oh, you're coming to rob us, so we're going to shoot you too. So you had to, as a New Orleans citizen or person, resident, you had to battle against the government, your own government, and the snipers who didn't like you already because of the complexion of your skin. And basically, it was just a learning. After the whole thing and just hearing everything, it just made me say that, I don't know why. I don't think we as a people, and you probably already feel like this if you're already spiritually awakened, but I don't think we as a people in society, no matter what race, creed, or color you are, or religion, I don't think we should depend on the government. I think that the rabbit hole goes deeper than we can imagine, and they already have a setup from day one who's supposed to win in this system. And I'm not saying that you got to beat them at their own game, because they play a witchcrafted game, But I'm saying if we can all come together and not do their typical traditions, I think that we can make it as something. You know what I mean? I think that, like, would there be economic inequality if all of us did away with the US dollar, right? Like, would there be economic inequality? Would there be poor neighborhoods or higher class neighborhoods if we let go of the money construct, What if we go by living off of land, a land-based economy, and a border system where there aren't a such thing as rich or poor? Maybe you have more things than I have, but we're still getting the same quality of food from the land, and we're still getting the same quality of ingredients to make our skincare products yes, everything is going to be government regulated, of course, even if we buy our own land. But if we're serving our own self with the food and just trading between one another, like, I mean, how can that require government? I don't know, guys. The rabbit hole goes deep. But just another episode to make you think and enlighten you. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I know I missed a lot of points because the documentary was very heavily detailed, okay? And the way these people were treated, it was inhumane. I'm not just saying that because I am a person of color. I'm saying that because, just look at the way they're doing the what they call illegal immigrants, taking them to a concentration building or something in Alcatraz, and having ICE soldiers parade the streets and arrest people because they're not an American citizen and they're not a native of the land. How ironic is that? This place started off as 13 colonies, and the people who captured and made and established the colonies were not a native of the land. Hello. But anyway, I'm not even gonna go down that debate. But guys, you have to protect yourself. By all means, abide by government. That's the disclaimer. We're here now. These laws have been around thousands of years before us. Go ahead and follow. 200 years, because the United States is about 250 years old. So their laws and everything, U.S. laws is about that, that age. So go ahead and follow them, pay your taxes, and just keep going, guys. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.